You're listening to the Scandalous Beauty Podcast, a makeup and beauty show hosted by Erin Bainham. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today I'm interviewing Cindy Diaz. Now, I met Cindy back in the day on YouTube. Her name was DRBrooklyn730, so that might be what you remember. She later changed her name to Vinyl Blush, and now she goes by just Cindy Diaz. But what you might know her from, and you might not even realize it's her, she is actually an editor at VivaLa, which is a mega site geared to Latinas. And her videos pop up all the time. So we're always sharing her content from fashion and beauty. And she's going to talk so much. We're going to talk YouTube. We're going to talk top products. We're going to talk making a career change and maybe even losing money to actually have a career that fulfills you and makes you feel so good. We're going to talk about just a whole bunch of beauty stuff. I mean, it's just tons and tons of beauty content. And it's a really good conversation. I enjoyed this a lot. So I'm excited for you to hear it. As always, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Erin Bainham. That's ErinBaynham. And I'm also on YouTube and Facebook as Scandalous Beauty. And I also have an Instagram account dedicated directly to the podcast where I share some of my routines and reviews, and that is also Scandalous Beauty. Before we get started, just wanted to thank everybody that has subscribed to the show via iTunes. I do have episodes on SoundCloud as well, and I'm tinkering with leaving that alone just because I don't really get that much interaction there. I don't get really a lot of listens there. 98% of the listens come from iTunes. So just want to thank you again for subscribing and leaving reviews. They're very, very, very helpful. We have 3 so far. Woo, woo, woo. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, thanks again. And let's just go ahead and dive into the interview. Cindy, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing well. Just chilling.
Thank you.
Having a good time.
No, awesome. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I love your journey, this beauty journey, because most of us, I feel like the people that have listened to this podcast, we know you from back in the day as DRBrooklyn730.
I know. Oh my God.
Is that like a totally different person? Is she like, do you remember her?
It's a throwback. Oh, for sure. I remember her. I am her. I just, rebranded a little bit. I feel like, every YouTuber, we started out with like some funky name, like those AOL screen names that we used to have back in high school and middle school. And then as times have changed, we kind of gravitated more towards our names and making it like more personal and more about the individual. Mm-hmm. So I'm still DR Brooklyn. I'm still Dominican. I am still living in Brooklyn. So, still the same person. But in terms of branding, I just decided to go with my name on YouTube.
And that's awesome. Like, I remember at one point, I don't know if we were in a forum or I don't remember where we were, but people were asking like what kind of doctor you were. I was like, I think that stands for I don't think that's what that means.
Yeah. No, I remember that. I used to get comments like that sometimes. I think it was on YouTube. But no, I am not a doctor by any means. So let's set the record straight. Exclusively on your podcast. I am not a doctor. The DR stands for Dominican Republic, which is where my parents are from. So that's where that came from.
That's awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. So let's go into the switch from DR Brooklyn to Vinyl Blush to Cindy Diaz. What was the significance in that change, and where did Vinyl Blush come from?
Yeah, well, I really wanted to rebrand, and I was thinking about launching a new blog And, back when I first started on YouTube, it was just for fun. I never thought that it would turn into what it is today. It was literally, like you said, a community of people who loved makeup, and we would just get on camera and talk about what we bought. We'd do tutorials, things like that. It was just super laid back. And then it just turned into this monster, into this kind of like business thing where, oh my gosh, this hobby that I love can really be a career and I can do this full time. So, I was working at my job in finance and I was really unhappy there. And I really was like, oh my goodness, if only I could, you know, really turn, like I said, this thing that I loved into a career. And I saw that just by like dedicating yourself more and being consistent on YouTube, or even if you started a new blog, um, there were opportunities there. So that's when I was like, I need to have a buzzier name. So I decided to brainstorm and I came up with Vinyl Blush. And I chose that name for my blog because this was back when I thought I would have time for this.
Yeah.
So, I was coming up with the name for my blog, and I would have a little notepad and I would write all these different like keywords that describe me and what I wanted my blog to be about. So, I love makeup, and that is at my core. That's what I started doing on YouTube forever ago. So that's where the blush part came from. But I also knew that I didn't just want to write about makeup. That's not what I wanted my blog to be about completely, or my YouTube channel to be about completely. So I started thinking, okay, I love music. And I was like going to all these concerts and music festivals. And that's where the vinyl came from. So that was like the
Oh.
marriage of my two passions. So music and makeup. And then when you think about, like, I love highlighter. And when you pack on that highlighter where you can see it from across the street, it's almost like vinyl, where it's like so shiny that you can like, it's like patent leather. So I just thought it was the perfect name because it really encapsulated so many different things that were about me. So that's why I decided to go with that for my blog and for my Instagram, my Twitter, all those different things. And then on YouTube, I decided to stick with my name because that's the direction that I saw everyone was going in. And like YouTube now, it's really all about personality and about who you are and really forming like personal connections with your audience. So by just like having your name, I just feel like it's that more personable. So you really feel like you're talking to a real person. So that's why I went with that when it came to my YouTube channel.
Well said. That was very, very well said. Okay, that's awesome. Um, so then let's talk about your transition to VivaLa. Can you even just tell us what this platform is and how you found the gig and all that fun stuff?
Wow. Well, it's a crazy story for sure. So, yeah, VivaLa, it's a lifestyle website for millennial Latinas, and we cover everything from beauty, fashion, entertainment, politics, identity, you name it. And, the way that I found that gig was so out of this world. Is actually YouTube was what
Oh,
led me to it. So, like I said, I was back when I rebranded, I was thinking about all these things about the direction that I wanted to go in. I was working in finance at the time, definitely ready to leave that job. And I just started focusing on my YouTube channel and coming up with ideas and recording videos. I launched my new blog. I like took photos for it and everything. So I was like really focused on that because I saw that people were making it happen
mm-hmm.
that way. So I said, I tried to apply to jobs in the beauty industry on the corporate side. Since I had a business degree and I was working in finance, I thought, okay, maybe I can get in that way. But that didn't work for me. So that's why I was doing it in a different way where I was like, I'm just going to put out my best work and hopefully the right opportunity will come to me. And that's exactly what happened with VivaLa, because it was one day out of nowhere, I got this email from a journalist that was part of the team that was creating the website. So they were looking for Latina creators to make video series for them. So that was part of their launch strategy. So they were talking to all these different people who did all these different type of content. So like food, people who modeled, like people who were into all different kind of things. And one of the things that they wanted to do was have beauty as part of those series that they were creating. And so they reached out to me because that person actually watched my YouTube videos.
Wow.
And so when they asked her for people, she thought of me.
That's
So that's
awesome.
how, isn't that so crazy? So it kind of worked out that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, do it on my own. I'm going to just work on my YouTube channel. I'll work on my blog, and then just like wait for something to come to me instead of just going out so aggressively. So like when one strategy isn't working, you have to shift. So that's what I did. And it totally worked out. And so I started coming in to meet about potentially creating a video series. And I was pitching like all these different kinds of ideas. And again, like saying, I wanted to go more in a direction of creating all this different type of lifestyle content, and how, as a Latina, I really wanted to show, other Latina women that you can really live this really full life where you don't have to give something up to have something else. You can have
Mm.
everything. So you can have the career that you want. You can look fly. If you want to have a family, you can have a family too. You can still do all of these different things that you want. You can travel, go to all the concerts like I was going to back in the day, but just really wanting to kind of show that you can do all these things and be successful. And I feel like that really resonated with the people who were leading the creation of the site. And they thought that I really had something to offer, but beyond the video series that I was pitching. So after one of those meetings, a senior person on the team came up to me and she said, we're actually building a team to work on the site full time. Up until that point, I had no idea that it was actually going to be a website. I thought, oh, they just wanted to do like a video series with different people.
Mm.
But no, like they were actually building a website, and the video series was like part of the launch strategy. So she said, I know you work in finance and you're going to have to take a huge pay cut, but, are you interested? And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, sign me up right now. I was so excited. And so after that, I started meeting about potentially working there. And I really thought, oh my gosh, there is no way I'm going to get this job. I have no formal experience. This is crazy, but I'm going to go for it anyway. And, next thing you know, I'm leaving my job where I was working for like almost 5 years already. I think
Wow.
I already had 5 years there as an analyst, as senior market analyst. Actually, I was already at a senior level at
Wow.
that job.
Dang, girl.
So I left that to start over at this job at VivaLa as an editorial assistant and writer. So literally like starting a whole new career, but that's how passionate I was about this. I just figured like this is what I love. I'm always
Mm.
consuming this content. I was reading so many blogs, I was reading so many different lifestyle websites, and I felt like, I can really do this. Like, this is what I do on a day to day basis. Let me go for it. And I was like, super nervous because it was a brand new thing, and I was working with people who had been in the industry and were coming from places like CNN, Huffington Post, Vogue magazine. And here I am, somebody who was just on YouTube and had a personal blog, coming to work with these people to create something really amazing for millennial Latinas. And I'm so glad I did it. It really worked out.
That is so dope. Those are the stories that just make you not want to give up. Like,
For real.
yes, like
For
when you are
real.
at your wits end, you're like, I can't
Hmm.
do this anymore. You just never know. You put it out in the universe, and the universe was like, here you go, Cindy. And there it was. That's awesome.
Exactly. And I was definitely one of those people who like read The Secret. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when you get
Mm-hmm.
to that point where you're just like, dang, like what I'm doing isn't working. What can I do? And it really did help because I totally changed my way of thinking and just put in the work, and this opportunity came up. So I highly recommend switching your strategy when something isn't working. You know, I have my sister right now. She's also going through something similar where she's trying to get into an industry where she's having a hard time. And I'm telling her, do your own thing. Set up a blog, you know, ramp up your social media and put your work out there and see if an opportunity comes in that way. You just never know who's watching and who can open a door for you.
That is so real. That is like one of the things I cannot like stop. I don't want to say preaching about, but people are like, well, I have to have this and I have to have that and I'm not prepared. I'm like, girl, if you don't just start, like, just start. We were all on like Blogger back on YouTube. I mean, I guess YouTube is so different now. People are like, I
Hmm.
mean, I'm like, do you guys have like assistants freaking editing your stuff? And like, do you have composers making your music? Like, I mean, YouTube is on different levels now, but I'm like, just
Yeah.
create content and just try. Just try. I don't know. I feel like I always hear the excuses and I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you just don't want it. I don't know. I don't know. Let me not judge. Anyway, next question. So I've seen all kinds of awesome stuff that you guys have done there, and I've seen some of these amazing opportunities. These amazing opportunities that you've had, and one of them was speaking on a panel at South by Southwest. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It was such an incredible experience and opportunity. So I was on a panel speaking with two of my colleagues from our sister site, Revelist.com. And we were talking about the rise of the real girl in beauty and fashion.
Mm.
So the three of us who were on that panel, we don't come from traditional backgrounds in editorial, where a lot of the people who have gotten those positions, like as you know, beauty and fashion editors at those legacy fashion brands, they've had connections, or a lot of them come from very privileged backgrounds and they can afford to work at a lot of these places where they pay very little.
Mm.
Um, and it's just like a huge disconnect. So there's like this whole like little world, little bubble with the same kind of people who always work in them. And that's great, but with the rise of social media, the game has changed because now it's not just models and celebrities that people look up to in terms of, oh, what makeup do I want to try today? Or what type of look I want to try? Because it's not realistic. You know, the jig is up. We know, that they can afford all these different types of procedures or they can have all their images photoshopped. So that's not really what we're all about. I feel like we're in an age where people are really learning to accept themselves as who they are, and they're not trying to turn themselves into anybody else.
Mm.
They just want to be the best versions of themselves. And I think social media is very empowering because now you see people from all walks of life that you wouldn't ever see in a magazine.
Mm.
And now they're the new symbols of beauty because now you feel like, oh, there's someone out there that looks like me and I'm beautiful and I can just take myself to the next level or just express myself creatively in a different way. And I'm finding all this inspiration online. And so we, like the three of us, we all come from those backgrounds. Like I came from YouTube, and my colleague Jessica, who was on the panel with me, she's a plus size blogger. And then I have another colleague, her name is Allie, and she actually got into the industry from commenting on those websites. So
Wow.
she was very like opinionated, and an editor noticed her and was like, "Oh, you have so much to say, like why don't you write for us?" So that's kind of how she got
Wow.
into it. So it's all very different. So we all have very different perspectives, and we are always thinking about social media, and that's where we get our ideas. Whereas like places that have been around for much longer, they didn't really have that kind of frame of mind because that didn't exist, or it didn't really proliferate until a lot recently, in recent years. So, yeah, so we were just talking about that and how social media changed the game, and how that's where we find our inspiration, and really talking about our personal stories and about how we got to where we are, and how in such a short amount of time, like VivaLa, for example, we've been around for like over a year and a half, and Revelist has been around for like a year. And we're really doing incredible things in terms of like video views, and we have huge audiences. Like we have over 2 million social followers
Wow.
combined in such a short amount of time. So it really speaks to that rise of the real girl, and how like we're not here for the bullshit, readers aren't here for the bullshit. Like they want to see, like in terms of clothes, if you're reviewing something, they want to see what it really looks like. They don't just want stock images. So we're really
Mm.
putting ourselves out there and trying things, and really serving a need that wasn't being met. And I think that being real girls who haven't been molded in that traditional way really allowed us to bring those fresh perspectives. And because we are that girl, we are our readers, we know what they want, and we know how to serve them.
Love it. That was
Yeah.
fantastic, which makes me even think of a post that you guys did, that you did personally, when you went blonde.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be good, because these are the things that people really want to know. Like, can I pull off blonde hair? Like, can I really do this? This is a big change. And to see you do the entire like makeover right there on social
Hmm.
media, it was just, that was awesome. Like, I'm like, this is good content. This is juicy content. Like you said, from a real
Yeah.
girl. And, I don't have to worry about it being like super sponsored, and, this whatever brand is the one that's, even if your hair is jacked up, they're going to make it look fantastic because they're like, they're trying to sell us something and get
No.
big money. But how was that
Yeah.
process? Like, how do things like that happen? I mean, where do you like come up with the story ideas and all that?
Literally, I'm on social media all the time. That's where I get my best ideas. It's just from being on social media. My real life, looking at what's trending, that's where I get my ideas. And that hair video in particular. So for me, I have been super bored with my hair. I I love my like dark brunette hair, but I wanted to do something different. And because I'm on camera a lot, I just felt like it didn't have any dimension.
Mm.
And so I thought, ooh, I would love to get some highlights, just kind of brainstorming, what do I want to do with my hair? And so I said, I really at one point wanted to go gray when that was a
Mm.
huge trend.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted to do that. But when I went to a hairstylist, it was actually in Dominican Republic. So I told her that that's what I wanted to do. And she pretty much shut me down. She was like, listen, there's no way you're going to be able to get that kind of an ash type color with the natural undertones that your hair has, because I'm Afro Latina.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are, so her thing was like, oh, if you're mixed with black, you have orange undertones in your hair, and in order to get rid of that, you have to pretty much go white, and your hair will not survive that. So she told me that I couldn't do it. So I said, okay, fine. My dreams have been shattered.
Mm.
So, I kind of was like, all right, well, then I guess I won't do that. And then one of my coworkers, she did a story about Latinas who have done like these really bold hair colors. So, like the blues, the reds, the greens, because that's also like really trendy right now to
Mm-hmm.
really go with these bold colors. And in order to get that, you really have to, bleach your hair in order to get those really vibrant colors if you already have a dark base. So one of the girls in that story, her sister did her hair, and she happened to work at Rita Hazan's salon here in New York, which is one of the most like luxurious hair salons in the city. Tons of celebrities get their hair done there. And she said that she had gone, I believe in the story, she said she had gone gray, or she had to bleach it a lot, and experimented with many different colors, and her hair was still intact. So I said, oh my gosh, if her hair could survive all these different changes, this person knows what they're doing. So if anyone can give me a change that I want, it's this person. And because she works at such a prestigious salon, I felt like, okay, she's not going to do anything that's going to ruin my hair. So I literally like put my life in her hands. So I reached out to her actually for the idea. So I know that makeover videos do really well. And so the thing is like people also like a story when it comes to videos. And so what that video that I did about like my hair journey, it told a story, because it wasn't just that I was going from my natural dark hair color to blonde. There was also something there about my identity and how I was told that because I was Afro Latina and I had orange undertones in my hair, I couldn't do this. I couldn't bleach my hair to the extent that I did and get that kind of ash blonde that I ultimately got as a result. So, somebody told me I couldn't do this, and I was like, you know what? It's just that they don't know how to do it. I had to find somebody with the knowledge and expertise to get the job done. So I reached out to her. Her name is Carlina Ortega. If anybody, wants to look her up and see her work, she is doing incredible, incredible hair transformations and posting them on Instagram all the time. So yeah, I reached out to her and I was like, this is my hair history. This is what I want. What do you think? And she was like, down for it. She said, we're going to just come to the salon and we're going to see how your hair reacts. And basically she was going to let my hair inform her as to how far we could go in terms of lightening it. And that's pretty much how it happened. So, I totally trusted her 100. I don't want a brassy type of look. So as long as it didn't look brassy, I was happy. We didn't have to go like platinum, but she made me really, really light. Like I had no idea. I thought I was going to get just like highlights, but she made me blonde.
Yeah.
It was intense. It was a dramatic transformation. So I think that was also part of the reason why people really enjoyed that video. So I think, in that case, that video really worked really well. And, other ideas, I'm always looking for like really interesting products, products that are really eye catching, that are really dramatic. So one video that we actually spoke about before was something that we did on the new Urban Decay lip top coats. And it was like literally like those like really juicy lip swatch videos where I'm just like showing you how this lip topper is transforming a black lipstick. So I feel like already, when you're on your phone, when you're on Instagram or on Facebook, you're literally scrolling through your feed. So I'm thinking, what's going to make you stop and actually pay attention? So black lipstick. So if you're a beauty girl, like maybe that's going to catch your eye and you're going to stop. Oh, what is she doing? She's like layering something over this black lipstick. And then you get like that really sparkly or really metallic lip color going over the black, and you're seeing how it's transforming. And the product itself is cool. So I really think about that. Like, what would really catch my eye? What would make me stop? And so I'm really bringing, my love for beauty as well as like knowledge about how people consume content together and informing my decisions when I'm looking for ideas.
That is so great. I love it. That is all classic real world examples of how social media works and how you win when
Yeah.
using it. I think I I tend to think people get like try to be too strategic and like are thinking too much into it, and they're like, well, I have to use this app to create these amount of posts and have them strategically placed, and I have to have this kind of flat lay. And I'm like, girl, you got to catch their eye first, or else like nobody cares that you spent all this time trying to create these posts. I mean, those are great examples, and that Urban Decay lip video was just everything. It was just everything.
Yeah, it was super successful. So for sure, I think that sometimes people get caught up in schedules
Hmm.
and putting out like a certain number of posts per day, or depending on how you work, because whether you're an individual or you're running a website, it's different. But it's just like I'd rather work smarter than harder and just really like focus on something that's really going to be eye catching than just like, just doing like the same thing over and over again. So I think that's why products like that really work. And people, the beauty industry is just so crazy these days. There's like a new product every day, probably more than one new product every day. If you're on Instagram and you're following pages like Trend Mood, um, there's always something happening in the beauty industry. So that's fun. And thanks to the internet, we have access to products that we wouldn't really have access to in the States. So we can like tap into the European market. We can tap into the Korean beauty market and like really find interesting products that people really want to learn about.
Amen. And I'm about to skip one of the other questions because I want to dive into exactly where you went. You tend to have these really epic Sephora hauls.
Yes.
And when you open that box, and you're like, all right, y'all. So I'm not going to lie. I went off. But I've been waiting for
For
this.
real.
I'm like, this happens. I mean, like, I don't know about every year, but I know I've seen definitely multiple videos where you go off like this. So, when and where are you getting where are you consuming? I'm assuming social media, but
Hmm.
consuming your beauty news and deciding like what products you have to have. Like, how does that work for you?
I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but social media. Instagram for sure. It's just so easy to, keep track of what's going on. And there are a lot of accounts that are aggregating what's new and when things are coming out.
Hmm.
So I love that. And so, I mentioned Trend Mood before, but that's an account on Instagram, Trend Mood One. And they're always telling you, like, this is the new product. Somebody posted a photo somewhere, somebody lets them know, and then they post it on their account. And so I always know, like, what's coming down the pipeline, when I need to set an alarm on my phone so I make sure I don't miss it.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yes.
So that's one way that I consume content, but I do read blogs, and one of my like favorite blogs ever. I'm sure so many people listening to this read it. Is
Hmm.
Santalia.com. So she's always telling us what's new and reviewing new products. So I feel like it helped me make more informed decisions as I was, getting a little more savvy in terms of purchases. Because when I first joined YouTube, I was like a nut job. I
Mm.
would buy every Mac collection like it was my job.
Whew.
I was so obsessed with Mac. It was insanity. And I know so many of us who were on YouTube like 8 years ago, that was our life.
Um,
But, I got a little bit smarter. And, I realized that I wasn't really using everything that I was buying. I was just like feeding into the hype. And, I started opening up my eyes more and trying different brands and going to things like the makeup show, for example, trade shows like that,
hmm.
watching other YouTubers. I still watch a lot of YouTube. That definitely helps with me coming up with a wish list for when the Sephora sale comes up twice a year. So I know what to buy. So yeah, I'm still on YouTube. I still watch videos. Um, So that's a lot of fun. But um, and being in the industry now, like as a journalist, I definitely learn about new products that way. And our sister site Revelist, we have a page called Eyeliner Addict. They're definitely covering like all of the breaking news in terms of new releases. So, we talk amongst ourselves in the office, so we always know like what's going on. And so I'm definitely immersed in that world every single day.
Nice.
So that's how I know like what I need in my life.
That is good. So, speaking of like knowing what you need in your life, let's talk about your like beauty routine because I know like every time I see you, I mean, your nails are always done. Like you always look together. So, and this is on the web. So, I mean, I don't think I've seen you in person in a lot of years, but you're always together on the web. So I'm wondering, like, how often do you get your nails done? And when it's, how often do you pamper yourself to get your hair done and things like that? Do you have a routine for that kind of stuff?
For sure. So I get my hair done once a week. I get a blowout every week at the Dominican hair salon. I've been doing that, I think, since I was like 6 years old. I've been getting my
Wow.
hair done. It's it's a culture. It's a
Hmm.
ritual. And I know like a lot of people like they're breaking away from that, but I'm still very much into like getting my hair done every week, getting my roller set, getting my blowouts. In the summertime, sometimes I take a break and I wear it in its natural state because I have naturally curly hair.
Hmm.
So sometimes I do that, but for the most part, I just prefer, especially now where I am filming videos every week, I just prefer to have it blown out. It's just easier for me to maintain and not think about really. That's really what it is. Like, I get it blown out once a week and then I don't have to think about it that much for the rest of the week. So yeah, I've been doing that forever. And then my nails, I am getting acrylics. I feel
Understood.
like people don't really do that like back when I was a lot younger in high school. People don't do that as much anymore. It gets a really bad rap, but I just really love longer nails. I feel like it really elongates the hand for me.
Hmm.
It's really elongating, so that's why I love that look of, those stiletto nails or the ballerina shape, which is the shape I'm rocking right now. So for that, I get them done like every 2 to 3 weeks. Like, honestly, I should get it done every 2 weeks, but it's a really big time commitment because the place that I go to, it's like my local hood spot and they don't do things by appointment. So you just get there
Oh.
and you never know when you're going to get out. And because like I work 5 days a week and then my weekends are pretty busy. I might need a fill that week, but I just don't want to spend 3 hours at the nail salon.
Yeah.
So I skip it, but then people definitely clock me for it on Facebook when they see the they see the little gap. But it is what it is. It's a choice that I make to kind of have some extra time to sleep or watch Investigation Discovery. But, you know,
Understood.
you know, if I'm living my best life every 2 weeks, but, if I need a break, I might take a little longer.
Understood. I that is like my goal in life. I am a nail biter. I am disturbed and annoyed by it. And I actually had a moment the other day where I had to show like some really important stakeholders something on my phone, like an Instagram post on my phone. And I'm like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, they can see my disgusting nails. And I'm like, I have to convert. Like I have to either A, stop biting, or B, I need to find that like dreamy nail. And I agree. I
Hmm.
think nails like they do, like the acrylics, they do elongate the hand and it just looks so beautiful. And I always notice
Yeah.
them on other people. And I'm like, I want to live that life, but I'm just really, really
Yeah.
scared. I don't know.
It's nothing to be afraid of, but for sure, like it's something that you have to be able to maintain. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So, for me, I may do beauty videos, and that's part of how like I earn my living, but in real life I'm really not that high maintenance. Like
Mm-hmm.
I do love all that stuff, and I love like doing it for a video or if I'm going out, but I don't wear makeup to work every day. So when it comes to my nails, like, I just really don't want to invest that time
Mm-hmm.
every week. But, because of my job and what I do, I definitely need to like keep my nails together. So I have to like push myself. Okay, you know, go get yourself together and, get your nails done and everything. But if you get acrylics, for sure, they definitely require maintenance, because if they start lifting up around the cuticle and then your hair gets caught in it,
Oh,
and it's just a mess. So that's the one drawback to that. But, it just depends. Um, that's
yeah.
really what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just gonna try it. Maybe this like one go round and see. Hopefully, I'm like if I just keep like a running, event in my phone, like every 3 weeks, this is the week to go back. This is the
Yeah.
week to go back. And
Yeah.
maybe it'll be a thing. I'm like, I guess that's how routines are born. You just got to keep doing them and
Yeah.
or otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But
Just, there's this big movement now for like self-care. Like make that part of your
yes.
self-care routine. Like if that's something that you really want, if, getting your nails done will really like, make you feel more confident or just make you feel better, like do it and just make it part of your, again, that self-care routine. So whenever you're like looking down, it just like brightens your day when you see like your nails are on point. So I love that. And it's part of what keeps me, you know, risking my life at that nail salon and spending hours in there. That place is a mess, but they do a good job. So that's why I keep going back.
No, that's awesome. Hey, that's girl, that's your thing. You rock 'em well. I feel you. No harm in that. Um, I lost all my questions. Let me see. Yeah, so what would you say is like the coolest beauty event or coolest beauty experience that you've had?
Wow. Well, the coolest for me and my favorite, and it's been my favorite for years, is the makeup show.
Hmm.
I absolutely love that event. It's for professional makeup artists. And I just love it because not only can you shop at a discount, at a professional discount, at all these amazing brands that I love, like everyone from like Makeup Forever, now Kat Von D's there,
Oh.
Inglot, all these different brands that we all love. We can shop. There's also so much education.
Mm-hmm.
So I all like I've been part of this beauty world for so many years, and every time I go, I still learn something new.
Mm.
There's always something else I can try, a different technique, because there's all these different workshops going on. So I love that. And then I feel like I've met so many people there throughout the years. I've made so many friends, and every time I go, it feels like a family reunion. Like if that's what it
Yeah.
feels like, because it's people that I don't see for months at a time, and then we get together, and it's all under like the spirit of makeup that we all love. So um, I love the trade show and I love the makeup show. I know because of like social media and everything, a lot of these events have gotten really crazy, but I feel like the makeup show has still been, I don't know how to describe it. It's still like peaceful to me, if that's a word. It's still chaos.
That's
It's a wonderful chaos, but it's not like out of control in terms of like, like social media stars and
yeah.
fans going crazy, which I love. And like I've gone to like BeautyCon and IMATS,
Have
where
you?
I think IMATS has changed its policy now where they don't really allow influencers to have meetups and things like that. But um, I feel like there's a place for that. But I just love the makeup show because it's just like strictly makeup and
Mm.
education. So I love that. But yeah, man, I mean, BeautyCon was cool. I feel like that's a good event to like meet a lot of YouTubers and Instagram makeup artists and listen to panels and things like that. I really didn't enjoy the shopping there.
Hmm.
I feel like the shopping at the makeup show is so much better because they have more brands.
Okay.
So, if you're like a junkie, like you want to go where all the brands are. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
real.
makeup show is good for that. IMATS is good for that. But then I didn't go to IMATS this year. But last year, oh my God. I think it was last year. I walked in there and there was line after line after line. You couldn't see where the lines ended and you didn't even know what people were lining up for. That's how
Jeez.
crazy it was. Like you saw all these lines and you didn't know where you had to go to shop where. And I was like, I can't do this. So
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
literally I just went and to see the lines. I really didn't do much shopping, but there's just different, it's just a different experience. So depending on what you're looking for, there's a different trade show for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely a makeup show girl through and through.
Understood. Isn't it like this weekend or like next weekend? When is the makeup show?
Yeah, it's next weekend.
Oh,
What is it, the 7th?
is that right?
I don't
Yeah,
even
the
know what day of the
Sunday.
week it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The 7th and the 8th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Sundays and Mondays. That's right. That's right. No,
Yeah.
that's
So.
awesome. And I'm gonna have to co-sign. I mean, when I see BeautyCon on Instagram, like I'm overwhelmed. I'm just like, there are
Mhm.
billions of people there, and I cannot imagine what it's like even being in there. And they'll just show people like lined up outside to get in, and then like the
Yes.
fangirl pictures, and I'm like,
And
oh my gosh, it looks like
oh my
one
God.
ginormous anxiety attack. However, I can imagine it's still
Yes.
like, such a big deal for so many people, to
Oh my
see.
God. For
Man.
sure. Because again, like that's the world. That's how the world of that beauty community feels now. It's like these people are like celebrities and you feel like they're really your friends.
Yeah.
Like that's how personal the connection is. So that's why like these events have all of these people coming and flocking to see them because like they've really transformed their lives, like each other's lives, because as a creator, you watching my videos and like leaving me positive feedback and everything, that definitely fuels you to create more.
Mhm.
And then when the act of creating and sharing these tips and sharing your own life and interacting, that really builds like really strong connections. And so that is reflected when they go and have a meetup and all these people are there, like literally hundreds of people lining up just to hug you and take a photo.
Um,
That is a big deal. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like that's something that only like musicians and actors and models used to experience. And now like
Right.
the everyday person is
That's
that celebrity. And it's even more important because you're a real person. So it's an even crazier connection because you feel like we're not that different.
that is so
Um,
real. Yes.
And I was just thinking now that you were mentioning all these people lining up, I just saw a video today where Huda Katan from Huda Beauty,
Mhm.
she was having a meetup in Dubai, and I need you and I if you haven't seen it yet, and anybody listening to this to go look up this video. She was having a meetup at the Sephora in Dubai, and literally every floor in this mall was packed with people
Woo.
lining up to go see her. It was chaos to
Wow.
the point where they had to cancel the meet and greet. She could not have
Wow.
the event, and I don't know what happened after they said it was canceled because if I was there, there would have been a freaking brawl. Like
Wow.
it was insanity the amount of people that were there to see her. So like these beauty gurus, these influencers, they're real celebrities, and if you had any doubt in your mind, please go look up this Huda Beauty video. It was insane. Like I've never seen anything like that.
I am like trying to multitask and look for it, but I'm starting to like, I don't want to zone out while I'm talking to you, and that is like, that right there. Those are the reasons why I get annoyed when I'm on Facebook and people are like, "Oh, did you learn it on YouTube?" Or "Oh, they for some reason certain people, and maybe it's because they are professionals that didn't really, come around during the blogging, YouTube era, but there's
Mhm.
some negative view on people who create on YouTube. And I'm like, people are just sharing their truth. Like they're sharing what they love from, their own perspective. And it was a way
Yeah.
for them to market themselves. Like if you were a professional and you wanted to find a different lane, if you decided to pivot and not just have like a website or, whatever it may be, if you would come on YouTube and decided to share what you knew, like you'd be, a quote unquote YouTuber as well and have,
Yeah.
be part of this community. And I don't know, there I just hear that so often still, and
Yeah.
I'm
No,
amazed. And then when I hear
for
Huda,
sure.
I hear the, Huda, freaking stories like this and I'm like, this is why. I mean, that's
Yeah.
colossal.
It's definitely a touchy subject, and that's why I felt like a little bit weird talking about the whole like IMATs versus BeautyCon versus the
Mhm.
makeup show thing, because I am someone who came from like YouTube and everything. So, I definitely am sensitive to that. Like people who are coming from those traditional backgrounds, they are a little bit apprehensive. Not everyone, but, many of them are a little bit apprehensive because, they've dedicated their whole lives to this and
Mhm.
um, have done so much. And they kind of feel like some people come out of nowhere
Mhm.
and become really successful. But it's people aren't just going on YouTube just to learn a technique. You know what I mean? Like it's a different experience. It's again about the person and the personality and someone who you feel is on your level. Whereas, if you're like a young girl trying to learn about makeup, you might find a professional makeup artist with all of these years in the industry to be intimidating. But a YouTuber might not feel that intimidating to you. And you're more open and receptive, and they're speaking to you in your language. So you can
Mhm.
really assimilate everything that they're teaching you. So it's just like a different way of, getting information. And some people, they really want that, super experienced professional makeup artist that has done all the magazines and all the celebrities. And other people, they won't really connect with that and they want somebody else. But there's room for everyone.
Mhm.
And I feel like we are getting there where, some people are really accepting that. And also a lot of these like really big makeup influencers, they are makeup artists. Like Jaclyn Hill,
Yeah.
she was like a real makeup artist, and a lot of them, they all worked at Mac and or they worked at Sephora. Like a lot of these people have like real professional experience.
Very true.
Again, they may
Pixie
not have
Woo.
done like editorial stuff,
Right.
Pixie Woo for sure, and they've definitely done all different types of work.
Mhm.
But not everyone is coming out of nowhere. A lot of people have had professional experience.
Very true. Very true. Squash that myth. Let's talk about Mac for a second. I'm not gonna keep you on all night, but this is you've got me thinking. So how do you
Mhm.
feel about the whole like looking at Mac the way that we used to look at it? And Mac was the be all
Mhm.
end all and you have to have every collection and nobody could beat Mac, to them being at a point where they're going into Ultas and they've got coupons and like discounts and stuff. I don't know. What do you think about where they're going?
Listen, I am shook. When I saw that news that Mac was going to be at Ulta, I was like, what?
Yeah,
This is crazy. Like,
yeah.
I never in a million years like would have like put them together. But yeah, I mean, people are really like getting with the program, and competition is real. And social media is definitely a part of that because there are brands springing up every single day. There's a hot new product, and a lot of brands are taking advantage of it, and connecting with influencers to push their product. And it really influences like what you see. So
Mm,
people who have been like really savvy about partnering up with like YouTubers and Instagrammers, they have really come up. And they have definitely created collections like Mac, like that's what drove us crazy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
all these like really cool limited edition collections with all this trendy stuff. Like now everybody's doing like the unicorn stuff
Mm-hmm.
and all these like different like magical things, and just all these like cutesy little things like Too Faced on their chocolate bar palette. So
Mm-hmm.
just really coming up with like really unique ways to package products that are good quality and that look appealing to the eye and that you want to have on your vanity and that you want to reach for. So they've really, kind of gotten some of that market share that Mac was dominating. So now Mac has to like step their game up and, find new ways to grow. And that definitely was like an amazing strategy to, go into Ulta, which has so many branches around the country,
Mm-hmm.
and just make their products even more accessible in a different environment.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
because I don't know so much these days because I've kind of gotten over that. But when I was younger, I definitely felt intimidated by the Mac counter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As like a new person getting into makeup, and like those Mac artists, they were just so fabulous, and their makeup was just like on point and just everything that I wanted. And I just felt like the littlest thing, like I didn't feel like, it's silly, but I didn't feel like I was good enough, even though that's definitely not true. But well, when you're young and you feel insecure, sometimes you can get intimidated by a makeup counter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure like some people still feel that way, although I think a lot of that mystique has gone away with YouTube and everything, and like anybody can shop anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like people are as intimidated. But at Ulta, it's definitely a different experience, and you can really like play with products and just consume it in a different way. So I think that's really cool. It's like when you go to Sephora and it's really like a playground, and you can really like just go around, and you don't have people like trying to sell you anything or anything. It's like a different kind of experience. If you're someone who doesn't need someone to coach you, it can I feel like open more doors and open it to a different market, because I feel like the Ulta girl is different from the Mac girl.
Mm-hmm.
So having their products there definitely opens them up to a new market. So I think that it
No.
was a good move.
Yeah, very true. And now it's like, okay, Sephora, I wonder what that competition looks like. And now so
Mhm.
many of the same brands are, are in Ulta. I'm like, oh, I can go to Ulta and get my
Mhm.
NARS and my Becca and my Too Faced. I mean, all of the things are, in both. So this is really going to be interesting. I really cannot wait to see how Ulta switches up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I think they also just picked up Ofra at
re-
Ulta.
really.
Yes, and that's when I was like, yo, this game is changing so
Wow.
quick. I'm like looking it up right now. I know that Ulta is selling Ofra. Yes, Ofra Cosmetics, Ulta Beauty.
Wow.
So, Sephora, they've really been moving in on those smaller brands
Mm.
and carrying them on their site. But now Ulta is coming for those brands
Whew.
too. And they have Ofra, they got Mac. Listen, never in a million years would I ever think that Mac is going to go into an Ulta or a Sephora. Never. So the game, like the landscape is really transforming, and it's just because there's so much competition. Like it's just so much easier to start a brand and get it in front of so many eyes
Mm.
because of social media. Like if you have a really good product that has like cool packaging or whatever, and you can make really cool videos showing how the product works and get it into the hands of a really big influencer who uses it. Like you only need one big break,
Yep.
and it's so much easier to get that these days. And on Facebook, forget it. Like everybody needs to go on Facebook. Like it's just so much easier to grow. and have people watch your videos because they don't necessarily need to like your page. Um, so on YouTube, you need people to subscribe to you to
Mm-hmm.
get your videos. It's a lot. It takes a lot of work for the algorithm to pick up on your stuff and start recommending you to people who don't subscribe to you. And on Instagram, it's the same thing. It's a lot more difficult to reach new eyes. And I feel like Facebook has lower barriers to entry and so much potential for people who didn't have you on their radar for you to reach them. So, there are just so many different ways to reach a consumer now. And brands, like, they really got to shake it up just to stay on top of things.
You better preach, because every time I turn around, I see another video of some awesome product, and I'm like, how did that happen? And all it takes is those ride or die makeup lovers to share this with their makeup loving friends,
Exactly.
and it just,
Like the Sponge, the silicone makeup sponge thing. That
yes,
just like it blew up overnight.
yes,
Overnight, everybody needed the Sponge. And then the another product that went crazy was the Vamp stamp. It's this eyeliner stamp that allows you to create a wing again with just like a stamp.
yes, brilliant.
Just by pressing it, that's it. You like the hardest part, the wing, you have it down. So, all these products offering like offering you some type of value where like the vamp stamp, it helps you create a wing more precisely and a lot more quickly if you know how to use it, because I know it didn't work for everyone.
Hmm.
But that's the catch. But of course, when they were like marketing it, the people who were using it, they really knew how to make it work for them. And it was like, oh my God, wing liner, it's like one of the hardest things ever to perfect. Like even I spend a long time doing my wing liner, and
Yeah.
I've been doing like my makeup for freaking, I don't know how many years at this point, like 20 years I've been playing with makeup. So that's still a challenge for me. So that's definitely like a really valuable thing. And then the Sponge, like who wants to waste foundation,
Right.
especially if you buy an expensive one. So if if you think like, oh my gosh, if I'm using a silicone makeup sponge or a wedge, oh my God, yes, I'm wasting so much foundation. It's soaking it all up. Here's this different type of product that won't absorb anything. I have to have it. And it looks cute. So, I just feel like those are the types of things that are really catching people's eye.
Yes. Yes, you got all the good insight, girl. I love it. So, okay, so I guess we'll just dive into a product chat really quickly. But
hmm
as far as skincare goes, what are you loving? What are you enjoying?
Well, I absolutely love my moisturizer. I feel like I finally found the moisturizer for me, and it's by this brand called Belief. They
Mm.
sell it at Sephora, and it's their moisturizing cream. I know they have the Aqua Bomb, which is a gel, and I have the moisturizing balm, which is the creamy, more dense version,
Uh-huh.
because I have like really dry skin right now. So I freaking love that thing. It's so good. So I've been using that, and now like I'm like getting up right now to find this other product that I just bought recently by the brand Drunk Elephant.
Mm.
So I am loving Drunk Elephant these days, and I just invested in their TLC Sukari Baby Facial, and it's this mask that resurfaces the skin. And
Mm-hmm.
my skin, I'm about to be 30 any day now, and it's starting. I feel like I'm hitting a turning point. And so, and because I wear so much more makeup these days, my skin is like, girl, you know that meme like, oh no, baby, what is you doing? Like that's going around everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I feel like my skin is saying that to me because I definitely like would get away with like going to sleep with my makeup on, which I
Yeah.
know is like a big no no, but I could get away with that. But I can't get away with that anymore.
Yeah.
So now I gotta like fix, all the things that I was doing wrong. And so I bought it, And it's so good because I like to feel the burn when
Yeah.
I use products like this
Yes.
that resurface the skin or exfoliate. So, I just, put a nice generous layer all over and I feel it melting
Yeah.
away all of my mistakes.
Yeah.
And my skin just feels like super soft and smooth after. So I love that.
Oh,
And
nice.
then because I've been like super dry, I have also tried their Marula oil.
Mm.
So, oils are a big deal in skincare right now. And I would like put on my moisturizer and then I would layer some of that oil on top in those extra dry areas because, I'm getting like these fine lines around my mouth and I'm trying to, deal with that right now. So that's what I'm really focused on. And another thing, which is super cool, that I have been doing is I signed up for this subscription service called Face Tory. So it's
Yeah.
like um, FACETORY. And I think it's like crazy, like $6 or $7 a month. They send you 4 sheet masks. And I'm like, are you kidding? Yes, I want 4 sheet masks every month. So I subscribe to that and I use that because I love it. I just love a sheet mask. So that's really my skincare routine. It's not really crazy at all. For my face wash, I've been using from Belief too. They have a facial cleanser.
Okay.
So I've been using that and it's not overly stripping of my skin, which is what I'm really looking for. So yeah, oh my God. As I keep saying things, I keep thinking of other things. And I'm definitely like a micellar water girl. That's
Okay.
definitely like super trendy for removing your makeup. So
Mm-hmm.
I love Bioderma and the Garnier is also like I can't even tell the difference.
Mm.
I love both. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
good
I
to
love
know.
that. Yeah. So good. And oh my gosh, Shiseido facial cottons.
Oh,
I keep talking about I keep talking about it because I know it's like so absurd to have a preference about the type of cotton you use on your skin. But once you try them, like you will really understand that there is a difference.
did you
You
just
will
like?
need them in your life.
Did you just get more of them like at this last haul that was in your video? Like this last
Yeah,
video you did?
after. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
after because I had to place another order. Yeah. I
Okay.
had to
Okay.
place. I know
Okay.
you're done with me. I I had to place another order, but yes, definitely, more facial cottons in my life.
Well, I think I ended up looking them up after you mentioned them, maybe.
Mhm.
And then I saw all those reviews and I'm like, damn, do I
Mhm.
really have to buy these? Like, I think I do. I want to know what luxurious cotton feels like on my face. Like, I'm going to do it.
I am telling you, maybe you shouldn't buy it.
Oh,
I'm like, maybe you shouldn't buy it because then you will not want to be without them. It's like that type of thing and they're not you have to order them online. They're typically not available in store.
hmm.
So, I don't really like, oh, I don't want to place an order for facial cottons.
Yeah.
But once you try them, it's going to be a wrap. Game over.
That is good stuff. So I'll
Mhm.
definitely make sure I look for those again. And as far as any other beauty products, is there anything that you're like super obsessed with or anything we need to look out for?
Oh, man. I think Kat Von D is doing like really amazing stuff right now. I just got her pastel goth palette
Ooh.
a couple weeks ago, and those eyeshadows are incredible.
Ooh.
It is so hard to do a bright eyeshadow that doesn't look patchy, that you don't need to layer for 10 years to get it to look smooth. And they are really like, they've really figured it out over there in terms of eyeshadow. And I just think that she is doing such a great job in terms of like packaging and picking themes and color combos where I'm just like, I need everything that you're making. And, for a long time, I was like, I need to stop buying all this makeup. And I've really like controlled myself in terms of purchases, even though if you watch my last haul video, you will disagree.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really trying to be better about not buying so much stuff. And I just feel like so oversaturated because I get to try so many different things.
Mm.
But that's one of the brands that like really keeps me coming back. And in terms of lips, I really love the Too Faced Melted Mattes. Definitely like all about those. Becca is so good. I'm still obsessed with Becca, and I feel like there is like no highlighter out there like her highlighters.
Preach.
I will buy, the Anastasia Beverly Hills and all these other palettes that are out there, but seriously, that is like one thing that I can't live without in my makeup bag. I always need to have my Opal and my Champagne Pop in my life from
Mm.
their Shimmering Skin Perfectors
Mm.
from the press version. Like, definitely can't live without that. And yeah, even Anastasia Beverly Hills. I know I just said that the Becca highlighters are on top, but I feel like they're also doing a really good job. Like, every time they come out with an eyeshadow palette, it's like better than the last one.
Mm.
So they are really doing good work. And yeah, there are just so many brands out there that are killing it. Urban Decay, I'm freaking obsessed with them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another brand that keeps me like interested in what they're doing. But yeah, that's really what I'm loving right now.
Yeah. You didn't see Mac. See, this is how it happens. Mac used to be
Oh
everything, and now.
no, right? But there is one product from MAC that does not leave my makeup bag, and it's their Studio Fix Powder
Mm.
Foundation.
Mm.
Seriously love that, and I've been using that for years, and I've tried other powder foundations, and that is my favorite because I feel like, when you're putting on your foundation, if there's any unevenness in coverage when like you're blending and you're moving quickly and things don't look that even, when you put on that foundation, you really get like even coverage, and it doesn't stay matte. It really allows your natural oils to come through and kind of like mix in with the powder, and you just look so flawless. So
Mm.
I really love that a lot. And one more thing, Fix Plus.
Yes,
I am
girl.
still all about that Fix Plus life. So I still have love for MAC.
Understood. You know what? And then I'm gonna leave you alone after this, but I have ever since they have started to like ramp up their social media, I
Hmm.
am living for watching what they do and how they use products. I mean, I really feel like they've always been innovative. They've always been, the infamous makeup art cosmetics. But
Hmm.
I've been watching them show us how to use things that we've had forever, like Fix Plus. And, just
Yeah.
seeing different things that they're doing. One woman was like, I love to leave mine in the refrigerator for a cool mist and do this and do that. And I was like, oh. And then I watched somebody else that used a piece of skincare. I can't remember what it was, refined zone something or other. And
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and it's supposed to, I guess, help with like pores and all that, but he's talking about using it. He used it to make a matting gel. Like he mixed it, I think, with his foundation or the concealer or something, and it totally like changed the formula. And I'm like, y'all are always doing some next level stuff. I mean, you're not the
Yeah.
only brand out there anymore. Like you're still, I mean, a contender, but I
Yeah.
just love how creative the people in their camp are, and they're just yeah, always
Yeah.
doing something dope. I'm like, what's Romero gonna say today? And what do I need to buy after I watch him work?
Right.
And like,
He is so creative.
I know,
He is so good.
I know, and I just want to like sit down and go to lunch with him and just listen to him talk. Like, just talk and tell me what I need. Like, do I still need Ruby Woo? Like, just let me know. If you say I need it, then I'll
Oh.
get it. Like,
Just tell me, I'll buy it.
yeah,
Yeah, he is so good.
yes, girl.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
and people don't leave. Like, I'm like, I feel like everybody has been with Mac for like
for
ever.
real. Like what? It's like, It's, I don't even know. It's like, I don't even want to say it. I was gonna say that it's like you're part of a cult. You can't leave.
Yeah.
I know, no, Mac,
Yeah.
don't come for me.
No.
I don't mean that, but it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, back in the day, a lot of these Mac senior artists that were there when I first got into Mac,
Yeah.
they're still there,
Yeah.
and they're still killing it and doing video and are on Instagram.
Yes.
Like, another one is Carrie Blair.
Yes, girl.
She's another one of their senior artists, and I'm always seeing her on Instagram, like doing her makeup and talking about product too.
Mm-hmm.
So they've really embraced social media.
Yes.
For sure.
And get, like, is this part of your brand? Like, you have to embrace it and use it and own it. And it's, again, people just, like, think of it as an everyday person. Like, how do you use social media? Like, think about it that way and just make it work. Be natural and authentic. And I don't know. I feel like they get it. They just
Yeah.
really do it well. Any other artists we should be following on Instagram, or any other people that you live for, or brands that we should be following?
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I feel like I follow. Oh my gosh, how many people am I following on Instagram right now? I don't even know.
I know, it's so quick
Like
to hit
over 1,000. Yeah, I'm following 1,993 people right now. So I don't even know who I'm like living for, because I don't want to leave anybody out.
Understood.
But I definitely love the big influencers, like the Desi Perkinses of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I love them. I love her for sure. And I follow a lot. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I love Sarah. She has like an interesting name that I don't know how to pronounce.
Understood.
I love Sarah
With the eyes at the end?
with two
Oh.
eyes with
Yeah.
with the eyes at the end.
Yeah.
I love her
Yeah.
stuff. Her eye looks are so good. The owner of Dose of Colors, her makeup is so good. Let me see, what is her? Does she have her name? Anna Petrosian. So the owner of Dose of Colors, her makeup is life.
Ooh.
Someone that I'm really into right now, Song of Style, who's a fashion blogger, huge fashion blogger. I've been watching her YouTube videos. She does a lot of vlogs, and oh my God, she has the best personality ever. I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. She's so good. She's such a sweetheart. So I'm really into Tati right now on YouTube. She's always like putting videos out like every day. I don't know how she does it.
Right.
And I'm really into like the luxury world on YouTube right now. Ooh. I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't have, Dior and Gucci falling out of my closet, but I just love watching people buy it and talk about it. So I'm loving that on YouTube right now. And I feel so bad because I know I love so many other makeup. Oh my God, Jackie, Aina, legend, just icon.
I mean, there's nothing else to say. I mean,
exactly, right? I mean, I think we can end it right there.
Pretty much.
She is everything. But yeah, I follow tons and tons of people, and you can just stalk me on Instagram and see whose photos I'm liking.
Yes, good point. So yeah, tell everybody where we can follow you.
Camila Coelho.
Oh.
Yeah, Vinyl Blush. VINYLBLUSH. Vinyl Blush. You guys can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm on YouTube as well. As Cindy Diaz, I'm there, and I am also creating content on the daily for VivaLa.com. So whether it's video or written posts, I am doing it all, and I love that I get to write about entertainment. So I get to be like like a Latina shade room on the website. I just love that. So it's just like, stuff that you would talk about with your friends. That's what I'm covering.
That's awesome.
At all times. And yeah, I love it.
You go, girl. Well, Cindy, thank you so much for spending your Monday night with me.
Of course, anytime. When you reached out to me, I was so excited. Listen, we are OGs in the game, and you're even bigger OG. So I had to come on your podcast.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode. We'll have another new episode next week. If you have any recommendations, any requests, anything like that, feel free to send me an email at aaron@scandalousbeautyonline.com, or you can tweet me at Aaron Bainham, or Instagram, or whatever you choose. I'm there. I'm pretty much everywhere. I want to thank you so much again for listening, and I will see you for next week's episode. Peace.